What's going on? What's a cold blue?
Wednesday on BET.
She's in cardiac arrest.
Sabrina's my closest friend.
She's a rock.
Let's just keep the faith that she'll get through this.
I am heading home to resume my chemotherapy. Please let your sister stay with you. Did something happen between you and Cheyenne that I don't know about?
Sabrina.
She okay?
Karen, something happened.
Tyler Perry Sistas. All new Wednesday at 9. Watch it live on BET.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to break down the trailer for Sistas Season 10, Episode 2. The trailer starts off with everybody still at the hospital and them hearing the code blue over the intercom, and everybody's asking what does that mean, especially Andi. And in medical shows and just in real life, code blue means that somebody has passed away. But in this show, it could possibly mean that like she went into cardiac arrest and they're trying to resuscitate her or something. Because in Season 9, Karen coded blue. Nobody notified the family that Karen coded. They just said that she had a medical emergency and they had to resuscitate her. We all know what the extent of Sabrina's injuries, and we saw the impact of the accident that Sabrina has sadly passed away. Sabrina will definitely be missed. And we see that Rich has finally made it to the hospital, and I'm like, I wonder, does he make it there as they're saying this announcement and he rushes right in, or does Rich is definitely probably going to take this news the hardest because he was hoping that him and Sabrina would get back together, and he really truly cares about Sabrina. Their last conversation was about them being friends and them being in a good space where they could communicate with each other even if they're not together anymore, and Rich was the last person to literally see Sabrina that morning before the accident. He gave her a hug. And to know that Sabrina actually missed him and wanted to be back together with him, and that was literally her last words to Danny before this whole accident. Rich is going to deal with the type of pain that's out of this world, and I really hope that he'll be able to cope with it in healthy methods. But if not, I think that he should definitely go talk to like a grief counselor. You have Danny just talking and she's like, Sabrina was our rock. And I'm like, Danny, sorry to break it to you, but Sabrina was your rock. Andi didn't hold her as the same regard as you did. I'm wondering if Sabrina's passing will bring Andi and Danny closer together, or will it make them go their separate ways? Because grief will definitely show you who your true friends are. Now, Fatima, I understand that you're trying to speak positivity in everybody and tell them that everything's going to be okay, but there's no need to sit there and pacify her and tell her that Sabrina's going to be alright and that they need to think positive. If she coded blue, that means Sabrina went on home to glory. Over at Andi's penthouse, we see Andi's mom talking to Cheyenne and Andi, right? And she's basically like, I'm going home to do my chemo treatments. And Andi's looking at her like, what? I know Andi's looking at her probably like, so what was the point of Cheyenne coming here if you're just going to go back home anyway? Valerie has the nerve to tell Andi, let your sister stay with you. Valerie, you have lost your mind. Even a blind man could see that Andi and Cheyenne don't get along, so you must have lost your mind in thinking that they're going to stay together. Andi honestly needs to set some ground rules and boundaries with her mom and let her know that you're not going to sit here and walk all over me like this and tell me what to do. Like over at the hospital, we see Rich looking into somebody's hospital room, and I'm like, is he in Sabrina's hospital room, or is he just looking in rooms to find? I really do hope that he's not looking in Sabrina's hospital room, because he doesn't need to see her like that. And Valerie has another conversation with Andi, and she's like, did something happen between you and Cheyenne that I don't know about? Obviously it did if they don't get along. And I honestly don't think it's the actual issue between them. I think it's the way that Cheyenne feels about Andi because of the things that Valerie might have said to Cheyenne. As far as Andi goes, I think Andi has some of that older child syndrome where she's like, well, why couldn't my life be like this and you give everything to Cheyenne, but when it was me, I had to fend for myself. And those type of issues would definitely cause some resentment and disdain between the two sisters, and that's probably why they don't get along. Then we see Maurice at his house, and he's on the phone talking to somebody, and he's basically delivering the news about Sabrina. And it sounds like he's talking to Paige, and he's letting her know everything. Based on the look on Maurice's face, it doesn't look like the news that he's giving is positive. Over at Andi's penthouse, we see Andi on the phone, and she's talking to Karen. Well, she's leaving a voicemail to Karen, and she's basically like, I know you would be hurt if I didn't call you and tell you this, but something happened to Sabrina. I'm wondering, based on this news, will this cause Karen to come back into town to make sure that Sabrina's services are done well and she's there for the funeral? I'm also wondering if we will actually get a funeral scene for Sabrina. They gave one to Miss Gladys and Fatima, so why can't they give one to Sabrina, seeing that she was a main character? But let me know what you guys think about the trailer. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Bye!